Thank you all for coming again and again. Thank you for the ones who are in you with us. We deeply appreciate it. I am May Shaheen, and we will start with what I wrote for the 10th day of the hunger strike. And Nahar will read it in Hebrew when I am done. The body has stopped asking. The hunger is no longer a visitor. It had become a guide, a teacher of truths to ancient for language. We no longer dream of food. We dream of justice served warm, of children held in arms, not buried in them, of a bread breaking like down across the siege. Day 10. The bones drum now. They drum through the silence, calling ancestors, calling the unborn. They drum a language older than strategy, a prophecy carved in flesh. This is not just about Gaza. This is about the human soul, about whether we will feed each other or feed on each other, about whether we will remember what it means to belong to one another as a kin. We have passed the threshold where the body resists. Now it surrenders, not in weakness, but in vow, a vow that says, we will not let them starve in the dark. We will not eat from the hands that arms their killers. We will not digest another lie. Our mouths are dry, but our voices are rain. Our stomachs are hollow, but our hearts are full of a fire that cannot be snuffed by distance or disbelief. This is not martyrdom. This is medicine. This is not despair. This is disciplining hope. A hope that refuses to be passive. A hope that lays its own body down in the bath of the machine. We are still here, day 10, and the empire still trembles because it knows we are not going anywhere. We will speak through our silence. We will rise through our falling. We will fast until Gaza is fed and every child is safe to dream. This is not just our hunger. This is the world reckoning. Thank you.
יומי.
Nahar.
הגוף הפסיק לבקש. הרעב כבר אינו אורח. הוא הפך למדריך, מורה של אמיתות עתיקות מדי לשפה. אנו כבר לא חולמים על אוכל, אנחנו חולמים על צדק מוגש חם, על ילדים המוחזקים בזרועות ולא קבורים על ידיהם, על לחם הנשבר כמו שחר מעל המצור. יום 10. העצמות מתופפות כעת, הן מתופפות דרך השקט, קוראות לאבות הקדמונים, קוראות למי שטרם נולד, הן מתופפות בשפה עתיקה יותר מאסטרטגיה, נבואה חצובה בבשר. זה לא רק על עזה, זה על הנשמה האנושית, על השאלה האם נאכיל זה את זו, או ניזון זה מזה, על השאלה אם נזכור מה זה אומר להשתייך זה לזו כמשפחה. חצינו את הסף שבו הגוף מתנגד, כעת הוא נכנע, לא בחולשה, אלא בנדר, נדר שאומר, לא ניתן להם לגבור בחושך, לא נאכל מידיים שמחמשות את רוצחיהם, לא נעכל עוד שקר, פינו יבש, אך קולותינו הם גשם, כבותינו חלולות, או ריקות, אך ליבנו מלא, באש שלא ניתן לכבות על ידי מרחק או חוסר אמון. זוהי אינה מרטיריות, זוהי רפואה, זה אינו ייאוש, זו תקווה ממושמעת, תקווה שמסרבת להיות אקטיבית, תקווה שמניחה את גופה שלה בנתיב המכונה. אנו עדיין כאן, יום עשירי, והאימפריה עדיין רועדת, כי היא יודעת, איננו הולכים לשום מקום. נדבר דרך שתיקתנו, נתרומם דרך נפילתנו, נצום עד שעזה תוזן, ועד שכל ילד יהיה בטוח לחלום. זה אינו רק הרעב שלנו, זו ההבנה של העולם. תודה.
Thank you, Anahan. And again, thank you, everyone that is here. It's the 10th day, and I was just sharing with my friends here in SATYAM that there is nothing feels like I do now feel with the fasting. I hear my heartbeats. It's so clear in my body. And I feel the power at the same time. This hunger strike. My wish and my intentions of this hunger strike and in inviting you to this hunger strike together with the Satyam community is exactly for us to be in this again and again and again, to be in togetherness, to be in faith in each other, to learn about nonviolent resistance and what does it mean not to be passive, what does it mean to stand up, what does it mean to speak, what does it mean to reclaim and proclaim our power and our humanity, what does it mean to sit with faith rather than politics, and how it does actually shakes earth and moves people for the true right reasons. And this is how we create a mess. When we move people, when we stand up, nonviolent resistance is a walk back to each other, to witness each other and the power, and that the difference is only a puzzle to make us complete. Nonviolent communication has taught me a lot how to observe things that are happening. It had took me to deep places of observation that are with no shame and guilt, just to observe, just to be in observation of what is it that is happening. What are the needs? What are the feelings? What's happening there? And what are the strategies that could meet our needs? Because the conflict is on the strategy again. It's not on our need. It's not on the need of the kids in Gaza for a bread or a freedom or motherhood and fatherhood and family and dreams and dancing and writing. It's not in the dreams of the hostages to be out and to see the sun and to sit and to breathe. It's not. It's not in the ones who are trying to be free, who are wanting peace and safety. The conflict is not there. The beauty, the power, the faith is there. The conflict is at the strategy. When I, as a Palestinian, would say, for example, my only freedom is if Jewish leaves the land or Israeli leaves the land. Or if someone else says, the only freedom for Israelis to really have safety and peace is for Palestinians to leave the land. And these two strategies, they don't meet our needs, not the Palestinians nor the Israelis. And this is nonviolent resistance. This is the Hungary strike. It's the strategy to say, we don't choose, now we come together. We meet all our needs and we take it to politics. And we move politics and we move the hearts of diplomats and we set them with the truth and we tag them with the truth and we hashtag them with the truth and we roam the roads of Palestine, Israel with the truth. And we create camps and empathy cafes for the truth. And we reclaim the power of togetherness, of sitting and looking at each other. This is nonviolent resistance. And this is what SATYAM community is trying to do, to stand up for, to receive all of those truths, to stand up for each other, to show the possibility of this holy land holding all of us in our sacredness. Exactly, Evelyn, like we are doing right now. This, you empower me to find the strategies, continuous strategies to meet everyone's needs, to sit in Satyam and open it, and wish to open it 24/7, and to proclaim again our humanity, because this is what nonviolent communication taught me, and this is not nonviolent resistance taking action. When I knew, when I met, when I acknowledged and I was acknowledged. And together with David, it's 10 days. It's 10 days and it's going and it's continuing to going. And we want to extend it and to grow it bigger and to continue to just deepen the faith. And I wish to give also some moments for David. Habibi, if you wish, if you have the energy to, yeah, how are you? To listen to you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I feel you expressed it. Really, there's not much I want to add to why we're here and why we're in this and why we're inviting. Yeah, I'm right now going through quite some emotional turmoil and yeah, mainly in silence, sitting with everything, sitting with Gaza, sitting with our shared heart and in prayer. Feeling all that needs to be felt. Yeah. So I will be, sitting with you in silence today.
Thank you, David. And again, thank you all. And I wish to invite Avital from America, an activist that I was blessed to meet whilst being there and to witness her fire and fierce faith and activism. And I'm really, really grateful I could bring her to you today. Thank you, Avital Habibti, for joining us, for coming, and for all the support you continue to give to me and to Satyam, to the strike, to the activism. Truly, thank you, dear.
Thank you for having
Welcome. Of course, welcome. And we
So-
remind you, if you have questions for Avital while she's talking, please put them on the chat. And we will have the space before going to the breakup rooms at 7 to ask the questions or whilst during she's speaking also. Thank you. Thank you, Avital.
Thank you for having me. I apologize for the voice. I woke up without a voice. but it came back so I can speak to you. So my name is Avital. I live in New York. I was born in Israel, Palestine. I'm a sixth generation born to one of the founding families of Tel Aviv, and I will get back to it when we continue the conversation. In 1980, my parents immigrated to the United States. But until we immigrated to the United States, the political atmosphere in the house, I was 11 when we came here, but I could recall that it was Likud and it was Menachem Begin. And the reason is because my mom lived in Menachem Begin's home when she was a teenager. So there was a connection between the families, and nobody questioned anything. Everybody just went with the Begins. When we came to the United States, being outside of the echo chamber or the narrative that continues to move through media and conversations and maybe social pressure, that was eliminated. And my father started doing some soul searching with my mom and started questioning and started attending lectures between Palestinians and settlers and following Peter Beinart and really digging in. At that point, when I was 18, I was already in college, and I went to Israel on a holiday break. And I took a bag and I went to the military and I said, I'm here. I would like to join the military. I'm talking to you today, reflecting on my past, where I am today, and it's been really a whole full circle. I think that I was like an Omer Nutra, may he rest in peace, like Idan Alexander, being outside of Israel and wanting to connect and wanting to keep a common thread among friends, because this is something that is common. And at that time, there were no refuseniks or people that decided that they were not going to join. I was stationed in the West Bank, in the occupied territories, for half of my service. And this is something that I was unaware of. And when I finished my service, I returned to the United States, where I stayed since. I built a home. I have a 30-year-old, beautiful, compassionate daughter who I learned from. But when I came home, the house was a different house. My parents were different. There was a conversation. There was Professor Leibovich. There was the whole, like, really digging and not putting the Band-Aid, but really digging into the wounds and open conversations. At that point, I couldn't find people of a like thinking and mind. While I was married to an Israeli, I stayed away from the Israeli community. I have friends from all over the world, but not Israelis, because I felt it was a place that was very hostile and very close to the heart, and the ears were closed. Fast forward, the judicial coup, January 2023. My parents sent me an invitation to a protest, which was protesting democracy for Israel. But we found ourselves standing with the bloc against the occupation, with the Palestinians' flags, with Israeli flags. And basically, that was our home, my parents and I. I was going to share some footage today, but maybe one day we'll send it for the group with me. And that felt like home. It felt like the right cause. It felt like the right fight. It felt natural. And then October 7th happened. And everybody's world was shattered. And I also heard it from Iris Gore, May's friend from Combatants for Peace, and from Jamil, and the ground shook, everything exploded. Didn't know what to feel. And at that point, because we had an infrastructure for protesting the judicial coup, and I have to say that I'm one of the famous ones that chases ministers. So no justice, no peace. I don't allow them to have one single moment. I wait for them at the airports. I will go to the hotels. I chase them. So, and we opened the Hostages Family Forum in New York, which I was part of the leadership team. I led the Bring Them Home walks in Central Park every week. I stood outside the United Nations Secretary General's residence every Friday. And what I found was that in the park, you couldn't speak ill about Netanyahu. You had to have the mantra of bring them home, bring them home. And it felt meaningless saying it to trees and bridges in the park, where really the person that I felt was responsible was Benjamin Netanyahu and his government. And while I was protesting outside the Secretary General's residence, I started reading articles and essays and recaps of his travels to the Gaza Strip on the Israeli side, the Gaza enclave. And everything that the media was doing to him, calling him anti-Semite, didn't really make any sense. And I forged a relationship with him. I started asking him questions. And I tried to move it to a way where he would visit Israel and go to the kibbutzim at the enclave that were hit and actually speak to the families on their turf and not at the United Nations in the office. It was complicated. He explained to me, I understood. But I felt that this was not where I needed to put my efforts. But we were faced as a group with a challenge. So the Bloc Against the Occupation post October 7th became Israelis for Peace. The park was very right-wing. The program happened, it was just a weekly activity, if you may. All of a sudden there was an activity for the Jews in New York City. And a few of us decided that we were going to open another group for another protest that would be a hybrid. It wasn't the Bloc Against the Occupation, but it was against Netanyahu that was not allowed in the Bring Them Home protests. And we ran it for about 9 months, every week. We also protested outside Netanyahu's speech at the United Nations. We got about 12 organizations, from the New Israel Fund to J Street to the Jewish Narrative, Progressive Jews. Everybody was there. And that was it. And that fell apart after about 9 months. And now I protest sometimes with Israelis for Peace and Standing Together, which they hold a protest every Sunday at Union Square. And I do things behind the scenes. So my activism now is in 3 parts. One is boots on the ground, and I'll chase and I'll shame and I'll protest and I'll be on the street. The second part is behind the scenes with different relationships that I forged and bridges that I built, with elected officials, with institutions, organizations, non-for-profit, with Al Jazeera reporter that I interviewed on Al Jazeera. And now I send him to cover things in DC. He's stationed in DC. And the other part is the social media. So I was not so big on social media, but I found a home on Blue Sky, especially after the elections in the United States. And currently I have 3 different accounts, 3 different handles that I operate, but between the 3 of them, I have close to 40,000 followers in a very few months. So what I do there is instead of just posting a link of an article, I put the article in the thread so people can actually read and not base their assumptions, decisions, and feelings on a title, because I feel like a lot of people just read titles. So it's very important. I bring voices from the Jordan Valley. I receive footage from settlers' terrorism, and I post it on Blue Sky. And then I do other things where I take videos and I create the captions in English and just keep the dialogue going. So that's a full stop on everything that I've lived through and where I am today. But I want to touch on 3 points today. One is my background and my family, which I'm thankful for who I am today. And I'm going to read, with your permission, a small section of a biography that my great-great-grandfather wrote in 1932 about Palestine, and there was no Israel then, but the Jews in the land, on the land. Another thing I would like to raise is a full circle that just closed with Masrayata. And the last thing is my experience as the only Israeli sitting in a premiere of Who Killed Shireen in a big theater, and how I felt. So I just want to read a short section of my great-grandfather's autobiography. And this explains, I believe, my DNA, my roots, my connection, and my fight for justice, wherever the justice is. It's not just Palestinians and Israelis. It's like never again, it's never again. So Yosef Eliyahu Shlush was born in Jaffa in 1870 and died in Tel Aviv in 1934. One of the original founders of Tel Aviv, he was a merchant, entrepreneur, contractor, and a public figure who combined all the possible components of this place into his identity in life. He was a Jew, a Hebrew, an Arab, a Zionist, and a Palestinian, a Tel Avivian, and a Jaffa native. And I quote, "Anyone familiar with the early history of our settlement knows that the issue of rapprochement with our neighbors and living in peace with them was the primary obligation of the local born, and we fulfilled this obligation according to our perspective. If we succeeded in our work, much of that success came from our recognition of and consideration of our neighbors with whom we had to build a settlement. But here, I must state the harsh and terrible truth. Our leaders and many of the settlers that came from the diaspora to manage our affairs did not all grasp the immense importance of relations with our neighbors. This fundamental and simple principle. Perhaps they did not understand or did not wish to understand, and their failure to address this issue is a major reason why it has become so complicated and painful within the settlement. It has already been noted in many writings that since Herzl introduced the idea of political Zionism, the Zionist propaganda in all countries and languages has portrayed the land in which we're building our national settlement as a desolate wasteland devoid of inhabitants. This portrayal of the land as an empty, untapped territory became the foundation upon which all Zionist settlement strategies were built, neglecting one crucial element: attention to the people who were already living in this land. To illustrate the costs of the disregard of the course of Zionist settlement, let me provide a few examples of many available. Through our efforts to build the land, we did not even make an effort to learn the language of the land, the language of our neighbors, while we eagerly learned other languages. Even today, in the new Hebrew settlement, this is 1932, in our cities and colonies, there are very few people who can read and write in the language of the local people. Furthermore, what we do know about the lives of Arab people, about their various streams, tribes, strength, customs, and norms, What do we know about their economic and cultural conditions? In all of Zionist literature, there's not a single book that accurately describes the lives of these people or provides correct statistics about their condition in every respect. So when I met Mai, and I heard also, and I listened to There Is Another Way, I watched the movie 3 times. It's really about seeing the other. And it really connected me. I translated, it was in Hebrew, it's still not out in English, but we're working on it. That really, my great-grandfather saw the other. And it explains why I am the way I am. And I'm thankful for being born in a home that recognizes the other. The second thing I wanted to mention is that with the Masperiyata, I was not involved, but a few months ago, I was connected to, I'm not sure if anyone read about the 2 Palestinians that were denied entry in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, Eid and Oda. And I was connected to Oda a few months ago, and Oda is sending me footage of settlers' terrorism, and I uploaded to social media. And when they were denied entry, I tried to do things behind the scenes. Obviously, I felt helpless and I couldn't do anything. But it turns out that Eid, that came with Oda, was at my parents' house in 2015 when a Palestinian delegation came from Masriyata. And my parents hosted the delegation in their house. So 10 years later, I'm speaking to the same people. But how this all came about is that my uncle, who's not well anymore, was a dedicated activist who would go and play with the children in Susia every Wednesday for 13 years until he fell ill. So that's about Masferiata. And today I feel that when I'm in contact with Oda, that I never knew them, but it's a full circle for me. And the last thing I want to talk about is how I feel in the diaspora as an Israeli, and I say now that I'm from Israel, Palestine, I've incorporated that into my language. It's a very difficult position, but I try to push and push the boundaries and see more and be involved. And it doesn't matter if it's among Israelis or Palestinians. And so there was the premiere of Who Killed Shireen. And I decided consciously that I was not going to ask anyone to join me because I did not want to bear responsibility or the feeling of how someone else feels next to what I'm feeling. I wanted it as a sole experience, just me. I purchased the ticket, and the day of the premiere, I got cold feet about an hour before the premiere. And I was having a conversation with myself, and I said, Avital, you don't have to be afraid. You're here for the truth. First of all, nobody knows who you are, but go. It's important for you to go. And I sat through the premiere. I cried throughout the premiere. I felt like a child that lives with criminal parents, but is helpless because there's nothing that child can do to stop the criminality. And I listened to Shireen's brother, and I spoke to Fatima. She's a journalist who was Shireen's close friend from Jenin, and we exchanged numbers. And I spoke to Mehdi Hassan, who this was under Zateo, his production company, the movie. And it felt, at the end, with all the difficulties, it felt home. It felt that if you fight for truth, and if you fight for dignity, and if you fight for self-determination of people, and if you fight for humanity, it doesn't really matter what the setting is. The truth is you're grounded, and you know that you're supposed to be there. So this is well, we have time, I think, Mai, we have time, but On the activism part, as I said, I created a whole reel for you, but we're not going to go into it. I want to say that I do break the boundaries. I'm not afraid to interview on Al Jazeera. I did find myself thanking Ehab for honest reporting. And then I thought to myself, it's not just Al Jazeera, it's the reporting in the media. So we've reached a point where honest reporting is not something that should be taken for granted. And that's it. And if it's okay, I'd like to open it, even not in the chat. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to do it in the room, if that's okay, or.
Yes, please. If anyone has a question, or yes, we welcome it. Please bring your voices. Thank you, Avital. It's very touching to hear you. Thank you, dear. Yeah, please open your mic, ask your questions, or if you have a reflection to bring.
I see Ruth is smiling. Ruth is also, yes, Ruth is London and in Israel, Palestine, but she has a British accent.
Do you know, it's funny when you said Menachem Begin, my mum left Israel, Israel Palestine for the first time when Menachem Begin came to power. She was like, yeah, my mum was born here in 46. As Avital knows, because yesterday we met in the group. Or was it the day before? I don't remember. Yesterday. Wow, I was trying to formulate a question in my mind because it sort of a lot came up and a lot of questions and reflections. I guess the sort of tinkering or inkling the beginning, because I was trying to think, I've been in places where my way, thoughts, opinions, views are very different from, I'm talking about in Israeli Jewish settings, because I've lived here for a long time. And when I'm abroad, it's a different, but my friends, lots of Jewish friends, but they're all Scottish Jewish. Or English Jewish. But here, yeah, I feel there's been times when very hard to have patience or compassion. I find myself getting angry. I don't know if you've had, the experiences that you've had with that, or, so badly wanting to change someone's point of view, to shift how they see things. And I'd say losses, I don't know if that's the right word, very much detached, separated, drifted apart from friends of mine here since October 7th, especially, or mainly. The few who I'm in touch with, perhaps we see things differently. I think there comes a point when no matter what arguments you brought up or the what seems to be the endless victimhood cards that can be played, there is a genocide, a starvation, there is something happening here which is, and I think it's impossible to ignore. And I think there's a breaking that's happening. And I don't know if there's a question there, or that was my reflection. And thank you for hearing me, and thank you, Mai and David, and for all, and Nahar, and for everyone for having this space and for what you're doing. Thank you. And thank you, Avital, for sharing. It was really interesting to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Ruth, for bringing your truth and sharing it with us. And yeah, again, another voice, or if there is a question. Avital, people are asking about the book, the name of the book, how to get it.
I can send it. Well, it's in Hebrew. It's online. I was told that it's being translated to English. How am I going to here? Maybe
You
I'll
can
send.
also send it to us and we can send it with the email tonight to everybody or and in the WhatsApp as well. Or give it to Nahar and she can share it with the links we are sharing at the
Yeah.
end as well. Is there any other question, any voices again? We wish for you to bring your voices or your questions or
I do want to say that it's really difficult, this whole anti-Semitism too. So when I moved to the United States, because it was 1980, and it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and my parents we came to the Bronx. It wasn't really the Bronx, but my parents placed us in a yeshiva, in a religious Jewish school. We're not, we celebrated holidays, but we were not religious. And I went to school with whoever knows here, Achinoam Nini, the musician. And she's a childhood friend of mine. And most of our classmates are settlers. But since I came to the United States, I never encountered anti-Semitism. And I've been here for 45 years. The only time I encountered anti-Semitism was with the Trump's first administration and after October 7th. And I'm being accused of being also an anti-Semite because I oppose the government and I protest the government and I hold them responsible for any life that's lost. So I've lost friends. I also wanted to say that, holding on to friendships just because it's the longest friendship that you had and it's your childhood friend, I don't feel comfort next to people that don't share my heart, that don't see what I see. So I walk away in peace, but it's almost like, if you are diagnosed with cancer and you have a support group, the people that understand what you're going through, this is the place that I feel at home and have been. So.
There is a question from Honeybee. Hello, Honeybee, Habibti. Grateful to have you. How can we continue? Honeybee, would you like to ask it? Would you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel so honored to be able to be here with you all, and knowing this resolve with peace is what takes us into the next phase of our reality collectively and together. And as I'm on this call, I'm receiving message from my Palestinian friends, family in Ramallah and Hebron, and they're tired. And I know that you're in the middle of this chaos and you must feel everything. And how can I support in a better way, in a bigger way? Because I know how tired you must be. And I want to use my voice to amplify this resolve of peace, because I know that that is the way through this pain and this suffering and this generational trauma. And I don't know if this is an answer begging from the stars or what it is, but I want to be there as best as I can, because this is the way. You are the way. Every day that you go without in honor of this collective peace is so profound, and I have been able to bear witness to this, and I'm so grateful. And so for anybody here, how do we amplify this peace? Because this is the way. This is the only way forward.
My dear, I honor you, Honeybee. For many years, I've also witnessed you and learned from you and received of your healing as well. And soon we will have her as a guest. Looking very much forward. Thank you, Avital. Maybe with Honeybee, we actually take her heart, her question with Avital and what she shared, and to the smaller groups. Now we will have 15 minutes for each 4 or 5 of you to be in a group for 15 minutes. We invite you to again answer the question of Honeybee and reflect on Avital and sit together and see how can we amplify. How can we amplify it? What can I also do? How can I support? How does us as a puzzle of different pieces can come together to make it complete, to make it stronger? And as we said, it's not only for Gaza, it's for all of us, apparently. It's for all of us. It's for all of us. Each to us individual, but still only in togetherness can it be met. So yeah, we will now open the smaller rooms. We invite you to bring your heart and also listen to each other and hold each other. And we wish for you to come back with us. Bring your voices again. Hold it in sacredness to listen. Maybe also to strategies of how can we amplify it? How can we amplify this hunger strike? Can it bring all of the power around ending this? How can we amplify what Avital is doing and be in partnership with Avital there in America? Can we create a camp like we are doing in Germany? Is it that possible? Can we do something somewhere else? Is the empathy cafes we're creating here something can be created somewhere else? We invite you to also bring your wisdom, bring your learnings, your powers, your ideas, your thoughts to each other and hold each other. So we will give you a bit more since we still have 3 more minutes. So you will have 18 minutes in the rooms, and we will remind you 2 minutes prior to bringing you back here to be with us. And maybe each group, maybe today we hear a voice from each group that you choose to share with us in a minute how it was for you, or if there is a strategy for you. Or, yeah, how was it? How are you? What's alive in you? And then we mend it together. We mend each other together. Yeah. So now the rooms will come. You have to push on the link that will come, that will take you to your room. We bless you and we wait to receive you again. Thank you, Avital, Honeybee, and Nahar. Thank you. Did we bring everybody back in?
Yes.
Amazing. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for coming. And again, Avital, thank you. You speaking about the settlements has reminded me of the first and the biggest settlement that is close to my hometown, Maali Adumim, which now oversees the Dead Sea. And during the first Intifada, during the curfews, which is really such a crazy two sides, some of these settlers, because they were able to not listen to the military and were actually against the curfew and the military invasion of Aizariya. It's the second half of Mount of Olives within East Jerusalem. They would bring food. They would fill their cars with food and medicine and chocolate for us and different kind of cheeses because they knew we liked it. And they will break the law to come in and bring this food to our houses. And they knew a lot of and worked with a lot of the people there. And then, as you said, things started to change. Walls and borders became between us. We wish to welcome a few of your voices of how it was for you, how you are. If there is anything that is alive in you that you wish to bring it. And we will hear 2, 3 voices, 1 minute of each before we close it together. So please raise your hand or open your mic and share with us how are you? How was it for you? Or if there is any strategies like Honeybee, or I'd love to hear your voices. Yeah.
I'd like to just share quickly, and thank you. And I received a lot in this group. Thank you, Dan and Avital. I appreciate it. And my work is to support healing of generational trauma. And my lens comes from a spiritual perspective. And I just posted that David Hawkins says that if we remain in a state of love inside of ourselves that we impact, that ripple goes out. And so that's my focus, is to help individuals heal their own inner war and to nourish themselves where they feel like they have starved themselves or cut themselves off. The conversation that we had was to bring hearts together from all sides, from Jewish to Arab to Muslim to listen, to listen in peace and be curious instead of just pushing. And that's work for me too, is to listen in peace where the pain that one individual holds. And that's my commitment, is to continue moving forward in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Honeybee, Habibti, and again, looking forward to hearing you. Yeah, again, other voices, those who didn't maybe speak before, we'd love to hear you.
Yeah, thank you. I had the question to Alexander. How can I evolve this project here in Germany, because everybody is so frightened. It's so frightened that we are anti-Semite. And he said something so beautiful, which I hear over and over, but when he said it, it lands in another place where I don't receive it yet. That I don't have to choose a side, and this, and also other people supported me in my group, that they said, just don't think about the next step, just do. And one another said that something small can be so big. And of course, this is so much I know, but it was for me now so important to hear it, and to remembering this for me, to really be present. Yeah, I feel now present and not so much outside of myself. Yeah, so thank you so much for my group, to support me in this.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you for sharing and for bringing your vulnerability and holding and doing everything you've been doing and organizing all through these days, and really sitting on everything, you and everyone there. It's such deep honor, and gives us so much power in here too.
I
Yeah,
would like to
trust.
share something, if
Yes,
no,
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
I resonate with what you said, Felix, and also with the question that you asked, Sunny B. I think for me, as an Israeli Jew, since the beginning of this war, I mean, October 7th, it was so hard that the first reactions that I saw around the world was, okay, either you're a pro-Palestinian or pro-Israeli. And I just felt that's the worst thing for us, that's the worst thing that you can do. And I feel like this was why my voice in this movement is so significant for me, that we insist on that it's not either or. And in my journey, I also have to keep asking myself what the next step to that question is, like, how, because I have people in my life, I have dear friends of mine who are married, for example, to people who are serving in the military right now. And I must confront the question of how do I not shun away from these people as well? How do I keep holding the hope and connection to all of our humanity? And when I think about people who are choosing violence as well, like Palestinian people who choose violence, I also think about they're also connected with families and friends as well. Like, so I guess I just wanted to bring this thing that I sit with, that it's one really important and wonderful thing to sit with this group who is like choosing to not act violently. And I also can't deny that I'm part of a bigger group, and that I am connected with people who are choosing it, and that this connection is there. I can't deny it. So I just wanted to. I don't have an answer, but when I think about like um, people who are outside of this conflict, like looking in, I like my prayers, like, please, like, remember all of us humanity, like all of ours humanity, the people who are choosing nonviolent right now and the people who are choosing violence right now. Like, I wish you would remember all of us, all of our humanity, So that's like, yeah. Thank you for listening to this voice. It's a voice that is hard for me to express.
Thank you, Nahar. Thank you for bringing this voice.
I can continue with Nahar, saying that in this last year, I was first doing intense volunteering as a therapist with the Nova survivors, and then with the families that lost their kids, and then with the police, which is not my favorite people, but I was working with them. And yes, it's very complex. I mean, my wish is to really, like Nahar said, I think, it just respect everybody, no matter what their opinion is and no matter how they deal with life, because we're all on a big, big journey here. And everybody has his own time to develop, to awaken, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your voices. It reminds me a lot of the journeys of Ben Rumi and what he meant when he said that our biggest and most profound journey on earth is the journey that we walk toward each other. And the moment we understand that this is where our richness lays, then it's the moment we free ourselves and everyone else. It's only in that moment that I am also free, as a Palestinian, as a woman, as a human, no matter where I am. And I wish to also remind us, all of this earth, I always try and imagine it, that it is a mother. And we all live in different parts, but it loves all of us equally. And it can only be at peace when we are all home. If our mothers cannot sleep in peace, when we are all not at home, or one of us is sick, or one of us is even anxious or even coughing, then can you imagine Mother Earth and what she's asking us to do? And look at our children. Walk in the streets and look at the children and try to also question yourself. What are they going to say about me tomorrow? What are they going to say about me tomorrow? And I always, again, my daughter Aram, she's 14. She, with all my crazy faith and dreams, the other day she said, and this is the second time during this war, she said, soon I will be teaching my children history. And I'll say, oh, this is Teta, which is a grandma. Oh, I know this person because they freed us. And it's exactly the faith. It's exactly the faith that this is how we will be mentioned in history. That there was a crazy group of people, Palestinians, Israelis, Germans, internationals, Bosnians, Iranians, who said no? Who said no? And met again. I remind you, I say thank you. May we all remember and may we all care for ourselves and each other. And I wish to say that beyond this Zoom meeting, really, there is a place here. There is a community here. There is a physical place for you to come and be held. Sit in grief, sit with empathy, sit with the trauma, to sit and to be met with wherever you are sitting. And this is the hope soon also, and it's an invitation to you that we will open SATYAM community space and we will start hosting and holding more people coming. And we will open our arms and give our knowledge and build it from here. And we remind you to take a look as well at the links to follow Avital and what she's doing and to continue to see how can we grow bigger? How can we connect each other to each other? What can we support to you with in order to create something wherever you are at? And to invite others to come and to take this love and this healing and this remembering first to yourself, then to your family, to the table that you will now go to. And if you are alone, call people. Call people. This is how we begin. Don't be alone. We invite you to be in togetherness, to ask for togetherness, to write even personally and say, hey, and to follow the media in order to see how can we continue. Let's keep it up. Soon we will have Roberta Wall. Hopefully on Sunday we will update you and she will speak about how to have hard conversation. She's a Jewish in NVC. She's the one of the first people that brought nonviolent dialogue to the Middle East. Brought it also to Palestinians and created the groups of Palestinians and Jewish who are still until today standing also because of her activism and its choice of bringing in VC. And we will be with Racheli Zohar. I invite you to also look. She will also bring how to speak to have hard conversations with neighbors, with military, when there is military presence as well. How do I hold it? And how do I bring art into it? And if you know of a voice, and if you wish to bring your voice, if you wish to bring your resistance, we invite you to write to us, to connect to us. We invite you to take 2 minutes video of yourself, 1 minute, and send it to us, sharing who you are, sharing you joining. I know we extended the time. I will still wish to end with a prayer.
Yeah. Would you like to me to go through the little details before, or would you like to do the prayer?
Yes. Thank you for your patience.
For sure. So I sent in the group chat a bunch of different ways that you can connect and that you can support this movement. So if you go into the chat, you'll see there's a quiet WhatsApp group, and there's an international community on Telegram, Instagram, and Facebook. there is a way that you can, there are many different ways to serve this movement. Like I, for example, fasted for 1 day. Now I've been supporting, holding these Zooms, and I created a song and sent it to a bunch of people telling them about this campaign. And so there's really a lot of different ways to take part, and listening to your body and your power as well. Like where is my talent and fire that I can give? There is also there's also a campaign that you can contribute money to and support SATYAM, and this particular action and other actions that SATYAM is doing. So there's a link to that campaign as well. And there's a very sweet thing. We created a global hunger strike map. So if you look at here, I'll show you an example. I'll share my screen with you. And I'll show you real quick. Yeah, I can do this. Not the. Wanted to show you how you can put your words and name on this map. It's just a way also to feel that we are part of a global community that is working on this project. So if you see there's a map here that people already put their location and a couple of words. Some people put pictures as well. And if you want to add your name, there's a little plus button on the side right here, and you can click on it, and it's very easy. You can put your name on this map.
So
Yeah. So I'm gonna
how do you send the video?
wait 1 second. I'll stop the share so that can. Yes. Was there a question?
I put myself on the map, so I don't have to do that again, right?
Yeah. If you already did that.
It's how does one send a video?
A video? I don't know if there's a possibility, but there's a.
Yeah, you can send it through our WhatsApp links, also our media pages, also on Instagram or WhatsApp on the messages and tag us. Then it's a way our media team takes it also. We also, Felix, there was a question how to connect to the team in Germany. Maybe you add a link how to connect to you, how to be in touch with what's happening there on the chat. It will be good for people to follow Felix and what they are organizing in Germany and what's happening there with the hunger strike, and to also see how we can support what they're doing. Again, thank you, Felix, so much, and Marco and everybody, everyone. Really, such a blessing, such a healing. Really, thank you.
Maya, would you like to say a prayer?
Can I share one thing quickly before we have a prayer, Mai? Nahar, is that
Yes.
okay?
And maybe
Just-
you close with us with a prayer if you wish, Ruth. Maybe you bring your voice and the prayer.
Oh, I don't know. I would love to hear. I think every time I've been, this is my third time, someone else has done a prayer. So I would love to hear you, Mai, and I would love another time.
Okay, dear.
Thank
Yes.
you. The one thing I was going to suggest is something I did today, which is something I don't do often, but I went onto Facebook and I went to the SATYAM Homeland page and I went to invite friends, and I just went through that list and I invited like 66 people. And even if like 20% join, it's 14 people, 12 people, and if each one of us does that, and if a friend does that, then it'll build, and there are already 500 there. And yeah, there's always something we can do, and it doesn't take long. And then we also remember friends we haven't spoken to in a while.
Oh, Ruth, thank you. Thank you. I will, one of the dearest verses on my heart from the Bible. Blessed are the feet of peacemakers, as they will be blessed wherever they go. Blessed are your feet. Blessed are your bodies. Blessed are your eyes that can see. Blessed are your mouth that can speak. Blessed are your ears they can hear. Bless your sacred temple, for it's bringing healing. I bless you. I bless your feet. I thank you. My deep gratitude to you. Deep, deep gratitude to you. So grateful to have met you through this life. May this blessing and power that we feel now continue to only extend within us, to our families, to our communities. And may we all be remembered as the people that it chose to bring a change in the hardest times, even when there was a genocide and war and a starvation and hostages and shame and guilt and separation and weapon. May each of your name, each of you be known for the choice of healing this Mother Earth and for the walk. We are all walking together. Blessings to you, each to your name, to everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for the time. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
And we'll
much.
see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a voice from Gaza. In Gaza, he's a peace activist even before the war. He's still an activist even now. And he will come to share and to show us what is really happening inside. And we wish for you to come, to bring as many people with you, host them at your place. Say, come have we have dinner afterwards. Let's be in togetherness and listen. Let's support Muhammad tomorrow. Let's support their voices. Let's give them faith that we see them and believe that they can actually continue doing what they are doing and that they are not alone. Absolutely not. There are people from everywhere, fighting for all of them and all of their dreams equally. Equally. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Nahar. Thank you, David, Felix, all of you, Alexander, all of you, Ruth, Nir, Hadassah, Mayra, Valentina, Marco again. Thank you. Jahida, I see you there and I see your tears.
Adasya,
Hadassah, yes.
thank you for being
All
with
of you, Kaisa, Shifra, Avital, thank you for your voice, your power, activism, fire. Thank you, the knowledge. All of you, my loves. Thank you. Dan, thank you, dear, for joining.